Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So with the past few hours already passed and nothing big to confirm or continue this conversation about the so-called Superman leak being an Xbox Series X exclusive, I thought I'd take the liberty to talk about the only way that Xbox Series X gets a superhero game from Warner Brothers as an exclusive game to that console. Now, this speculation went about saying, this might be an exclusive and all that stuff. And, some people said it's not going to happen. Usually Warner Brothers releases their games across multiple platforms. It doesn't seem likely that they're going to, be doing this for Xbox. But I wanted to talk about one possible scenario where this might be a possibility. Now, as you guys know, or for anyone who's been looking at things from the financial world, 2018 was actually a profitable year for Microsoft. It wasn't like crazy great, but it was decent. It was good for them in some aspects of their market. Now, if you look at 2019, there weren't really a lot of video games being made, especially we could just call this entire console generation for Xbox a console generation where they just provided a console mainly and not too many exclusives, unlike Sony who was able to provide, major hits in terms of PS4 exclusives. Now, many of these PS4 exclusives are probably going to start changing their tune because there's also rumors about Horizon Zero Dawn coming to PC very soon. And then Death Stranding also, was a PS4 exclusive for just a few minutes and then said, hey, we're going to bring it out on PC in the summer and all that stuff. But with PlayStation, Sony already owning the Spider-Man franchise and locking down that exclusive, I can see Microsoft wanting to play or make this chess move by locking down another superhero game on their platform and actually weighing the perception of all of this. Now, Warner Brothers is way independent for them to, be willing to do something like that. But with profits and the way, the dollar signs work, if Microsoft is willing to put a big fee on this, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably going to be a reality. In this case, theoretical scenario that I'm making up. Because think about it, Microsoft wants to sell consoles this console generation. Sure, they may have been profitable in 2018. I have not looked at their 2019 earnings and reports and all that because I'm not certain, but I know 2018 there was some reports about their Q3 being really good. And with that in mind, I think, if they're looking back at this last generation and saying, how are we going to be able to compete with a market where the Sony people, the Sony family are going to go ahead and buy their PlayStation 5 without hesitation? They're not even going to think about the Xbox. But what if they wanted to appeal to some members of the community and say, hey, we want you to check out our Xbox and here's what we're doing to try to bring some exclusives our way? I think there will be a part of the community that will say, well, I think it's a fair game because when the Spider-Man game came out on the PS4, a lot of people hopped and bought a new console to actually play that game. I mean, there were PS4s just the other day in my local Facebook from people saying all we did was just play one game with it, a Spider-Man game. That's all people bought that console for. So I think it's a very huge likelihood that they want to snag an exclusive of some kind or of the magnitude of a superhero game that's in the works. Now, whether it be this Batman game or whether it be this so-called Superman game, I don't know. But I think it goes back to one of these tweets, this Comics Kid person that tweeted some things about this new so-called upcoming game and saying that it's going to be primarily next gen and said people will most likely be surprised. I don't know what that means. This person just knows, what they know to a specific extent, and they've only been, able to just say what they feel they're able to say to that extent to give us kind of a clue. I'm not trying to read anything too much in it, but I'm looking at Microsoft thinking to themselves, sure, we've acquired about 4 different studios. For those of you who don't know, about last year, I think it was altogether, Microsoft had acquired about 4 different studios to make some first party exclusives for them, but that was just all they did. And if you acquire those studios and you set them up in that short period of time, I can almost say with a lot of certainty that they most likely do not have a bunch of games ready to roll out, except they were already working on projects that Microsoft came in and said, hey, give us this project and give us the keys to your studio. But also Microsoft has also been, making a PR move and having, these reports go out and say that they're giving creative licenses to these studio heads. In the case of Ninja Theory, the makers of Senua, the Hellblade, Senua Sacrifice, I remember the head of the studio actually mentioning that Microsoft gave them full creative license in their studio. So there are many things at play here, and there are many things at stake. To go ahead and develop all this hardware and not be able to move them off the shelves might not be an opportunity, or might not be an option, for Microsoft in this console generation. So they will want to play some really heavy cards. So I think this is something that we might see. I mean, if we don't see it, then great. I would hate for there to be an exclusive, but at the same time, I'm making this video and I'm actually talking about this because I feel like gamers, we just, have to expect the unexpected. I mean, when that guy said people will be very surprised, I thought to myself, what would this surprise be? I mean, is it going to be the surprise of a game? Because at this point, after dragging so many things so long, or putting out pictures and putting out logos, I don't think there's any surprise anymore, honestly. I think the surprise that we might see in that sense is, that's maybe one of these consoles are going to be getting some benefits. And I think that's where they are. I think they're trying, and I've said this before in past videos, everyone is trying to dot their, I's and cross their T's. And I think Warner Brothers might be willing, if the fee is right, I don't know. I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying theoretically, because these studios have been sitting on games and canceling games for a while now. Now, Warner Brothers does have a bunch of, they seem to have a bunch of money to be able to continue with these projects till they get the best possible project. And I just see it as Microsoft trying their possible best to get something that they can hold on to their platform and actually make their platform quite significant. But it's not out of the question. It is something that we have to be looking out for, and it seems like they have the money to do it. It's not a matter of the money when it comes to Microsoft and Xbox right now. I think the money is there, but we'll see how it all plays out. But anyways, that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for your time and audience. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.